Okay there, singing world. This video will offer Italian pronunciation help for the aria Quel bel sogno di Doretta from La Rondine. We will explore the tips and tricks to help you sing your aria without accent and also discuss the proper open and closed vowels, non-phonetic things such as phrasal doubling, and also assimilation. But before we do that, please direct your attention to the description of this video below. I have given you the text with all of the non-phonetic things written out, the opening vowels, the doublings, and the assimilation. And besides that, there are some various links to my websites, to my Facebook fan page, and also the most important link is to the pronunciation dictionary on the RAI site. You may follow the link, or in a search engine you can type RAI, RAI, DOP, or RAI Dizionario, and the site will come up. You can enter any word on the site, and it has a playback button. You will hear a native Italian speaker pronouncing the word, and also it will tell you whether the words are open or closed. And what I love about it the most is that it acknowledges the existence of non-phonetic things such as phrasal doubling and assimilation. You'll have entire lines of text written out with a playback button, and you can hear these assimilation and also the non-phonetic things in action. I love it. It's been around for a long time. I've been using it for a long time. I strongly suggest you check it out. So let's go through our text to this aria. First, word by word. We'll examine each word very closely, look at all the tips and tricks to get rid of your accent, and also review a lot of the common mistakes I hear in auditions and in performance. So let's start off from the beginning. This is one word at a time. So you have chi, C-H-I. C-H-I, the H makes the I hard. C-I would be chi, C-H-I is chi. In I, which is pronounced as E in Italian and is known as the vowel E, is phonetic. It always is E. No matter how you see it, it is E. Il, I-L, as we just said. Bel. So now we have our first non-phonetic vowel. E's and O's are not always phonetic, right? So you have open and closed E and open and closed O. So open E is like the A and head, and it is the rounded E IPA symbol that looks like a Greek E, right? A, like head without the glide, right? Closed E is A, like hey, without the glide. And what I mean by glide is our vowels in English are not pure, right? So we say a vowel and then we move our jaw, we chew our jaw, right? So we say things like boy and air. So we harmonize it not only into the R's, but vowels harmonize into one, like guy, right? In Italian would say guy, I, right? Would be a separate ah, pure ah, and a pure e. Okay, so that's the difference, right? So a, right? No motion of the jaw afterwards. It's pure vowel. Okay, so bel is open e. Now sogno has two closed O's, and so O is the second vowel that is not always phonetic, right? So printed O is closed O. O, sogno, right? O, right? And open O is like the aw, A-W, right? Aw, without the glide, right? So as if we said saw, and we did not, we didn't harmonize, right? So sogno, so GN in this case is like lasagna, right? Like is an N, right? And then a Y, right? So gno, sogno, right? And the gno is very high in the palate, right? Sogno. Going on, D, again we have our E vowel, right? It's I is always E. Now we have Doretta. Now, there's a lot to talk about in this word. So we have a closed O, we have a closed E, right? A is always A in Italian, never harmonizes, right? Doretta. So you have a double T, right? And I do a double T by stopping phonation. Doretta, right? And if you can imitate that, that's good. But I will go through that step by step also, how to actually do it, right? And then the R is flipped R because it's single R. Now R's in Italian can roll or they can be flipped. And here's the case. So for flipped R, it's surrounded by vowels. Doretta. Okay? So double R, say there were two R's in that name, it would be Doretta with the R, right? So now the other thing about R is if an R touches a consonant, it rolls. Okay, so if you look down at the word 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines down, you have giorno. So that R touches an N, touches a consonant, so it's rolled. So in this case, we have Doretta, flipped R. How do we do flipped R? Well, it's almost the same position as D, right? So if we were to say Doretta, the tongue would be in that position, except for the tip for the D of the tongue is flat, right? For the R, the tongue does that. It's straight. Doretta. So the tongue touches the roof of the mouth for the flipped R. So that's Doretta. Okay, so now let's do double T. One T would be this, Doretta, right? Doretta, Doretta. One T, right? Doretta. That's two T's. So how do I do two T's? I stop phonation, right? So do I actually do two T's though? Are there two T's in singing? Is it Doretta? No, it is not, right? It is one T. So step by step, here's the lyric diction way of doing it. And I'll go through the difference between speech and lyric diction. Lyric diction is the Italian use for singing, okay? So what happens is you have a long vowel before, you stop phonation. After you stop phonation, you go up to the T without saying it. And you don't say the T, you see? Ta, then you say the T. Now you have the perfect double T and you have control over it. Okay, so there's no T at the beginning. Long vowel, stop phonation, go up to the T, don't say it, say the T. Ta. So you can practice that with me as I'm doing it. Okay, so when I'm speaking in Italian, Doretta, I can clip that vowel pretty much before. When you sing, you have to hold the vowel before the T more, right? So when you sing, you don't want to be going Doretta. I hear that a lot. They really, with a really clamped down first vowel. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, good. So now let's go over the dentals, right? Here's the other mistake you can make. I hear D for D with air going through it like in English, right? When we say dental, right, in English, there's D, and T, right? Now, D and T are actually the same consonant. The only difference is one has voice and one doesn't, right? So one is a voiced consonant, da, da. So when I say da, D, da, there is a vocal cord in it. When I say ta, there's no pitch, there's no voice in it. It's unvoiced. Okay. So the Italian T, the Italian D are much more voiced than the English version. There's no air going through the D, first of all, right? Da, right? And the T, if you think about Doretta, and you did a D first for that double T, right? And you find out that point where it's voiced, and then you just take it right where it becomes unvoiced. That's Italian T for singing, right? Doretta. That's where you want to be. You don't want to be Doretta, where your vocal cords come apart. Okay, and then let's go on to the next word, Potè, right? So again, now we have a single T, right? And P, the plosives, is exactly the same, right? In English, they have air going through them, right? So if I had an American accent or an English accent, Potè would be the way I say this word with lots of air going through, right? So we don't want that. So P is a plosive. Its unvoiced version is B. B, B, right? Both are done by bringing your lips together. So if you think botte, pote, right? You find the P that is the closest to being voiced. Here we have two closed vowels in this word, right? So the O is closed, the E is closed. Let's go on. The next word, indovinar. Now, you have a closed O in this. You have a final R that's rolled. So final R that doesn't touch anything is rolled, right? Indovinar. So, r. Did you notice that there were two N's in this word? Two different ways I did N. Listen carefully again. Indovinar. So I can do both N's the same, right? The first N, first of all, let's do the clue with the first N. First N had phonation and it actually doubled. In. See, so there's phonation. Dovinar. That N isn't held in position. So how do I do double N versus single N? So the first N is kind of double N, second N is single N. How do I do that? Well, to make double N while I'm in the N position, I just hang on to it while I phonate. In, right? So dovinar, I don't hang on to it. I don't let it hang on while I phonate. I could do it, double N, indovinar. So now, if I did the word wrong, indovinar. See, two double N's, right? Not as pretty, right? So that you want single N, right? Indovinar. Okay, so that's a good word to practice to get the single N, double N. Let's go on. We know that I is il, right? It's E. Suo. Again, here's another example of no harmonization, right? U, O. So the O is closed, the U is U is always U, right? Okay. So now next word, mistero. Okay, so that's the full word. There's an O on the end. This one, for the poetry, we've cut off the O, right? So now it's mistɛr. And final R again rolls. The stressed vowel is the E, and it's open. Okay, so now one other trick, the S trick for lyric diction, right? When you speak, you can say mistero and kind of hiss that S. When you sing for lyric diction, you have to separate. So say you had two notes on this word. The first note should not have any S on it. First note should be mi, second note should be stɛr. So when you speak again, you can say mistɛr. So the S is on the first syllable, right? Mistɛr. When you sing, mistɛr. So you would do legato and fast. You have to do that, right? So always think about your S is on the next syllable. Okay, let's go on. Come. So these are closed O and closed E in come, right? So now come is a word that is a strong word. It's a two-syllable word that causes a phrasal doubling, right? So if you notice, I've printed the next word as double M. So you would say come mmai. There are a lot of two-syllable words that cause phrasal doublings. Dove is one of them, right? You'd say dove mmai, right? Sopra is another one. Soprattutto. Contra is another one. Contrattempo. So you see, all of those words cause the next note, the next word to have a double consonant. Okay. So you have come mai, double M, right? So next, finì. The accent is on the ultimate syllable, right? So we know that the most common stress in Italian is on the penultimate syllable, the second to last. But some words can have a final stress on the last syllable. Next word presents you with a choice. Ahimɛ is open. That's the more common pronunciation. You can also say Ahimɛ with the closed E. Both are acceptable. Next, un giorno. So you have un, U-N, u, giorno. So to practice, you can, first of all, the I makes the O soft. It makes the G soft, I'm sorry. Jo, right? So G-O would be go. G-I-O is jo, right? So this is a true semi-vowel, this I. It's just there to make it soft, the G. Giorno, giorno. So closed O. Uno, right? Not uno. I could double the N and do wrong, right? Uno. So uo is how you practice to get rid of double M, right? So uo, uno. So it feels the same. If you hold your N in position for just a second, uno, double N. Doesn't matter how softly you do it. Going on. Studɛnte. So here's a 3-syllable word that goes according to the most common stress for Italian on the penultimate syllable, right? So on the stressed syllable, right? Studente, the E is open. On the unstressed E is closed in this word. So studente, right? So the last E is A, the stressed E is A. So now let's talk about closed and open E's and if there are any formulas that can help us remember when it's open and when it's closed, okay? So, as I said, there's a stress, there's an accented part of the word, and there's an unaccented part of the word, right? So, let's talk about the unaccented part of the word first. So, if you have any E's and O's falling on the unaccented part of a word, we know that they're all closed. So there's one formula right there. So that's good news. You do not have to worry about unaccented vowels in Italian. So anything falling on an unaccented syllable is going to be A or O closed, right? So now let's talk about the stressed vowels. Here's the bad news. They can either be open or closed on the stressed of the word, right? We have to memorize them. There are some formulas that I have in a list that I can refer to you to later, but for the most part, you have to memorize word by word. So I suggest to my clients that you write in your open vowels only because they're not phonetic, right? So I only suggest that you write things that are not phonetic in Italian because so much of it is phonetic, right? So in this case, we have studente. Okay, and again, the N goes into the T, right? Studente. So there's a phonation on that N. Okay, let's go on. You have the word in, right? And you see I've spelled it with an assimilation. So we'll explain that in a minute. I change it to an M, right? The next word is bocca. So closed O on the stress. Double C. Double C is the same as double T. You say a long O. You stop phonation, you go up to the K, you don't say it, and then you say it. Bocca, double C. Okay? So now let's talk about the IN before the B. If I were to say these two words together, you would get this. In bocca. So what just happened there? I'll do it in slow motion. In bocca. Now you would never sing it that way where I was holding a double M in position while I phonated, right? It goes by so fast that you don't notice it. So did you notice that the N assimilated to the B? So let's go through that step by step. The B is done by putting your lips together. Ba, right? So the N, what happens does, again, an assimilation, it just assimilates and comes out of your mouth and is right here on your lips. In bocca, okay? So it's not in your mouth, right? So now what if you were to put it in your mouth and try to sing legato? So normally you start with an N with the tip of your tongue, right? In, right there. So I need to go from there to my lips, right? So in bocca. So in my attempt to sing legato, I had to keep a vowel going. I released my tongue. There was still a vowel. That's a shadow vowel, right? And then the bocca comes, right? So that's not so desirable. All of a sudden you lose legato, your placement's all over the place, your resonance is all over the place, and that's the reason why you've done that, because you put the N in your mouth and then tried to come out, right? So Italians, when they speak, they do this very naturally. In bocca. Right? It goes by so fast nobody notices it. Now there's another way to do this assimilation wrong, is to hold the M in place as I did, right? A lot of people, they learn this trick. Next thing they do, they go out and they sing im, and they hold on to that, right? No one's going to catch you doing this, right? If someone notices it, you're doing it wrong. In bocca, it goes by so fast, nobody sees it. Okay, so now we have our first assimilation. Let's go on. La. So this pronoun is, we're going to talk about strong monosyllables and weak monosyllables. Okay, so let's just humor me for a moment here. La, the definite article, and also the object, right? Meaning that somebody kissed her in this instance. La is a weak monosyllable, meaning that it does not cause a phrasal doubling, right? Okay, so baciɔ. Okay, so in the past tense, in the once upon a time tense, there's a strong accent on the end of the word. And here's a formula. These are almost always open. Also the future tense. If it ends on an O in a verb, usually it's open, right? So baciɔ, right? Open, right? So what do we do as Americans? We double the ch sound. We always say baciɔ, right? And we do the O closed also for some odd reason, right? So it's baciɔ, right? Baciɔ, single ch, open O. So now the next line we have strong monosyllables, 2 in a row in fact. The word a, which is and, causes a phrasal doubling, and the word fu also causes a phrasal doubling. So you have strong monosyllables, you have weak monosyllables. Strong monosyllables are actually more common than weak monosyllables. Okay, so weak monosyllables, you can actually count them on both hands. Okay, now for our list of all these strong monosyllables, it's in a book. It's in Evelina Colorni's Singer's Italian. It's a green book. You probably had it in 101. Flip to like the last 5 pages or so. She makes a list of all of the strong monosyllables and all of the weak monosyllables and all of the words like come and sopra and contra, those 2-syllable words that cause phrasal doublings, right? So use this as your reference, okay? So here we go with this, right? So now look, I printed 2 F's, right? So efu, you could do like that, double F, right? Efu. So the word for and, and, right, is E is printed with an E and it's closed, right? The word for is also printed with a single E, but it has an accent, so that's open. Both of those are strong monosyllables, first of all, right? So a and a is, right? So make sure you have the difference between those two because they make you understandable, right? So now we have double F. Efu. Okay, let's go on. Quel. So all these words, questo, questa, quello, they're all closed. So this one is quel. Now this is bacio, the kiss, right? Baciò, once upon a time, kissed, right? Bacio, big difference, kiss, the noun. Okay, so now notice I've written the sentence out a second time. The reason for this is you have 2 doubling words in a row. This presents you with a choice. So you can double the F using the A as a strong monosyllable, double the F. E fu quel bacio. Or you can use the fu, which is also strong monosyllable, to double the Q. E fu quel bacio. I like the second one. That's beautiful, right? E fu quel bacio. You cannot do both. When you have 2 doubling words in a row, you can't say e fu quel bacio. See, it's already wrong, right? It's too much. It's like wearing too much jewelry or whatever, right? Or doing something it's over the top, right? So you do one or the other. You pick one. So choice is good, right? Having choice is good. So that's why I printed this out twice. Have fun practicing both of those. Okay. Next word. Rivelazione. Okay. So all the one verbs, all the one words, nouns actually, I have a closed O, right? Trombone, right? Anything. Portone. Okay, so the zione is the stress, right? And we know it's closed now because of that formula. So that means all the other E's in that word are closed because they are not on the stress, right? So E, A, A, Io, A. Everything in this word is closed. One more thing. When you speak, you can do the TZ like this. Rivelazione. See with the TZ? And I kind of let a little stop, and it's almost a double consonant. It's like the word grazie. When I speak, I can say thank you, right? Grazie. When I sing, however, I have to elongate the ah, like this. Think about Mimi's entrance, right? How often have you heard grazie, buonasera? If you do it like that, it's not really elegant. You have to sing grazie. So it's like a semi-vowel. The ah is longer. So especially this word, rivelazione. No, rivelazione. So the ah has to be long for lyric diction. So this is the grazie principle, right? Grazie, delizia also, right? The word delizia. You can't say delizia. You can do it when you speak. In spoken Italian, it's fine. Delizia. When you sing, delizia. It's okay? So that I hope that makes sense for you, right? So in this word, rivelazione, elongate the ah before the tz. Here's the word fu again, and now it's going to double the L in la. Fulla. Fulla passione. And then we have another one ending, right? A noun, closed. Passione. What did I do with the S? I delayed, right? I didn't go passione, as in speech. Passione. You separate for singing. Okay, going on. Here is another word that presents you with a choice. Very few words have a choice of being open or closed on the stress, right? So you can either say Folle or Folle. And I guess that a lot of you will choose the latter because it's easier up high, right? Closed O. Folle. Amore. Amore. Okay. So we have lots of closed O in double L. So double L. How do I do double L? Folle. So I hold my L in position while I phonate. Folle. One L. Folle. And for singing, you have to exaggerate. You have to feel like this is really exaggerating. Going on. Amore. So here's single M and single R. In Naples, they do say amore, right? Double M and double R, but not in this, right? One M. Amore, not amore, no rolled R. Closed O on the stress. Okay, so Folle or Folle, however you want. Ebbrezza. So A, ebbrezza. Double B. Now let's talk about double B. We as Americans, we are champions at double B, right? But you cannot stop phonation. Italians don't stop phonation on double B. So you hear all the time, O mio babbino or ebbrezza. See where my lips are together and there's a stop in phonation. Ebbrezza. Ebbrezza. Do you hear that? There was double B. Single B would be ebbrezza, ebbrezza, ebbrezza. See? But I don't go eb and make staccato. Okay? Double Z is like TZ or DZ, right? This one is, we've had all TZs, right, so far. Ebbrezza, I don't think there's any DZ in here. Words like mezzo or lezzo, those are DZ. You have to memorize those. That's not phonetic, right? So mezzo is because there was a D in Latin. This is ebbrezza, TZ. Going on. Chi is a doubling word. So you notice I printed out two L's. Quella, right? Sottil. We already did double T. You go up to the T, you don't say it. Sottil. Carezza. Carezza, not car. Right? No rolled R. We've already done double Z. This is a closed E on the stress. We've already done this assimilation. So notice it happens again, right? The N goes to an M. D'un bacio. D'un bacio. Così final stress, right? Closed O. Ardente. So ardente. Anything that's a gerund in Italian has an open. You'll see a lot of ente that's closed in Italian, but gerunds, if you're doing something burning, right, which is also an adjective, it's going to be open. Ardente. And closed E on the unstressed. Mmai, ridir. So notice you have two R's. You have mmai, ai, and then you have two R's. One that's flipped, one that's rolled. The first R is between two vowels. It's flipped. Second R touches a P. It is rolled. Ridir, E, right? Potrà. Again, you have a rolled R, touches a T. The accent is on the A, the final syllable, so the O is closed. So now a lot of interjections are strong monosyllables. So, mio sogno. Now, you're up high, right? High C's, high B flats, right? Use your own discretion. You don't want your lips coming together on this, right? If you can do it, you're great, but don't mess up your voice, right? But in Italian, you would say, mio sogno, right? Mia vita, right? So, sogno is close those. Mia vita, right? So double M both times. Let's go on. K, again, we have the H to make this the C hard. Importa. So the stress in this word is open. There's a rolled R because it's touching the T. Notice we're going fast now. I got all the formulas out of the way. La is a weak monosyllable. One R, right? Ricchezza, ricchezza. Double C, double Z. Most people get the double Z. They don't get the double C when they sing on this. Ricchezza. So double. And we have a closed E on the stress, right? Se, closed E. Al fin. Here's our word for is. Notice as opposed to the word for and, which was closed, this is open. And it's a strong monosyllable. So the R that was surrounded by vowels now doubles, right? So it's rifiorita. The second R in that word is still surrounded by vowels, and it is flipped. This is a good word. This is a good combination of words to roll an R and then flip an R, right? Rifiorita. It's really hard to not go rifiorita. Or even worse, rifiorita. There's one more mistake you can make. The accent is on the E, so the O is closed, right? It's rifiorita. O. We're going to see that R, and we're going to do rifiorita. Okay, going on. La is again the weak monosyllable. Felicita. Felicita. All single. What we do is we do this. Felicita. Always. I hear that so much. Double ch. Felicita. So you can practice to get rid of any double consonants in this word. Just practice it all on vowels. Eia, eia, felicita. And see, we won't have any doubles. It's the same feeling. Okay, good. So now the interjection O is another choice word. You can sing A or you can sing O, right? Although I would not advise singing A at this point. O sogno, close those, right? O sogno, gno, close those. Dor. Okay, on a B flat, are we going to know what you're singing? I don't know. Dor, right? It's open O. But the word gold is open, or. The word now, or our, ora, right? So the long forms of these words, the gold word is oro. Open, gold. Oro. Ora, our or now. Close though. Okay. All ere verbs, this conjugation, this is an infinitive. Potere, they're all closed E. So here's a formula for you, right? Potere, sapere, they're all closed, right? All those verbs. So this is all closed. Amar, so poter amar. Notice that the R at the end of poter did not roll because it's between vowels. The R at the end of amar rolled because it's going to touch the consonant. Così. Okay, so Puccini is always involved. Puccini loves words that have doublings. There are always lots of phrasal doublings and non-phonetic things in a Puccini libretto. So it's always fascinating to me how he does manage to put the words in the best part of a voice, and he's always looking for beautiful overtones in the voice. So now let's do whole lines, right? We're going to be looking for arcs. We're going to be looking for rhymes and things like that. I'm always talking about the long phrase and how the long phrase is not only formed by your breath and by your legato, but by your mind and how you think of the phrase as an arc, what is up and what is down. Okay, so here we go. We'll do whole lines. And you may pause the video and repeat lines with me. Okay, so here we go. Quel bel sogno di Doretta poté indovinar il suo mistɛr, come mai finì. Ahimè, un giorno uno studente in bocca la baciò, e fu quel bacio, e fu quel bacio. Rivelazione, fu la passione. Folle amore, folle ebbrezza. La sottil carezza d'un bacio così ardente mai ridir potrà. Mio sogno, mia vita, che importa la ricchezza se al fine è rifiorita la felicità, o sogno d'or poter amar così. Thank you so much for watching. Please like the video. Please share. Please subscribe. And as always, please feel free to comment and give me suggestions and requests. And as always, don't forget to see your coach. We will see you at the opera.